It's important to watch what countries do and not just what they announce. Because when energy routes quietly change, it doesn't always signal exploitation. Sometimes it signals leverage moving. And in 2026, India, one of the world's fastest growing energy consumers, reduced its reliance on Russian oil and increased sourcing from Angola. No speech, no moral framing, no explanation required. Energy didn't argue, it adjusted. When power shifts, it doesn't clap, it recalculates. And remember, if you want more Africa First stories that Western media ignores, hit subscribe. We don't chase the headlines, we chase the truth. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why India's quiet pivot matters and what it reveals about Africa's real position in the global energy system.
India's President Draupadi Murmu is in Angola on a 4-day state visit, the first ever visit by an Indian president to the country. On the surface, the trip looks ceremonial, attending Angola's 50th Independence Day celebrations and marking 40 years of diplomatic ties next year. But beneath the formalities lies a much bigger strategic story. India and Angola already share a strong relationship, especially in the energy sector. Angola is one of India's major suppliers of oil. In fact, almost 80% of India's current $5 billion trade with Angola comes from oil and gas alone. As India continues to be one of the fastest growing energy markets in the world, securing stable fuel supplies is essential, which means Angola matters a lot.
Our partnership with Angola from energy security perspective is very critical, and we would like to explore the possibility of providing sort of more momentum and depth to our partnership in the energy sector. Angola has a large segment of arable land, and they are very keen that Indian expertise, Indian technology in the area of agriculture can be utilized by Angolan side. So we are very ready to share our experience with the Angolan side, and this visit will give us a chance to discuss those elements also.
During the visit, India and Angola signed multiple agreements, including cooperation in fisheries, aquaculture, and marine resources. But the real significance lies in what was discussed behind closed doors: defense cooperation, technology partnerships, critical minerals, and long-term energy contracts.
So, India's energy demand isn't theoretical, it's structural. A massive population and industrial base that keeps expanding, transport systems that don't pause for geopolitics. And for years, Russian crude fit that equation: discounted, accessible, and politically workable after sanctions reshaped global markets. Until it didn't work. Shipping became less predictable, insurance costs increased, and payment routes grew slower and riskier. Not dramatic, just inefficient. So India adjusted. Indian Oil Corporation, the country's largest refiner, secured roughly 2 million barrels of crude for March delivery. On paper, a routine transaction. In practice, part of a broader recalibration away from Russian supply and toward other producers, including Angola. No announcements followed because none were needed. Angola wasn't discovered, they were already online. And energy policy doesn't panic, it avoids friction. So people think this headline means that India made a statement that Africa was chosen, that someone gained and someone lost. That's how headlines generally work. It's not how energy does. So let's talk about what's actually happening, right? Angola didn't suddenly become relevant. Its oil infrastructure has been mature for decades. Production is steady, exports are reliable, crude blends fit large refiners that prioritize scale and consistency. So yes, those systems were shaped long ago by history, by capital, by global demand, but they persist for a simpler reason. They function, right? India didn't invent a new structure. It stepped into existing capacity when another source became less efficient. So let's talk about why this moment matters. So this isn't a morality tale, it's a positioning tale. When buyers adjust quietly, producers don't vanish. They become reference points. So energy doesn't care about narratives, it follows the infrastructure. And let's talk about why this matters, right? This moment exposes that this isn't a moment about Africa's weakness, it's African centrality, right? Angola didn't campaign for attention. It didn't brand itself as the future of energy. It was already integrated. And when global supply chains tighten, integration matters more than rhetoric. So this isn't unique to Angola. Across the continent, African commodities are being reclaimed, recalculated: oil, gas, minerals, even logistic corridors. And not because of sympathy, but because of necessity. That necessity creates leverage, not automatic prosperity, not instant transformation, but leverage changes tone, it changes negotiations, it changes what can be asked and what can't be ignored. So people keep asking why Africa matters while restructuring their supply chains around it. And this builds on what we've covered in previous Africa Power reports. Power doesn't announce itself, it shows up in the contracts. So this shift won't reverse overnight. India will keep diversifying. Russia will remain relevant, just less central, and other buyers will rotate in and out. The important change isn't the buyer, it's the pattern. Africa is no longer peripheral to energy stability, it's part of the baseline. And what comes next depends on African states and what they do with this position, quietly, structurally, without speeches, capacity decisions, coordination control, no slogans, no conferences, just systems evolving to match relevance. So people might say Africa needs guidance. In reality, Africa is being relied on. And inshallah, in the next episodes, we'll look at how relevance turns into negotiating power and why some actors are uneasy about that transition. And without saying, we have to understand Angola's long colonial history, with the remnants of neocolonialism being a major factor in the large-scale production of oil and gas and minerals in the country currently, right? So we want to see this become more indigenous, right? So here's the truth stated clean, right? India didn't make a declaration. Africa didn't ask for approval. The system adjusted and Africa was already in the frame. And that's not triumph, that's position. So, mashallah, that's your African Insight for today. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe because I'm Mr. EmpowerTV. We don't chase the headlines, we chase the truth behind them. This is Mr. Empower, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.